Hi, good evening, good afternoon. My name is Andrew Dane with the University of Wisconsin Extension, and I'm here today with Mr. Pete Kling to talk a little bit about bioenergy and sustainability. Pete, I wanted to ask you, you've been working up in Northwest Wisconsin for a number of years, working with communities on bioenergy and sustainable development. What do you see as one of the keys to working successfully with communities and on natural resource issues, including bioenergy?
One of the biggest things that I see that I think is important is to make sure to involve the community. Bioenergy is really a community decision, and in order to make sure that that happens, you really need to work with those important stakeholders in the community, involve the developers, involve the city or the town that it may be taking place in.
You see this online curriculum that we're developing being a practical value to other extension educators and other natural resource professionals in the field?
Well, not everybody working in this arena will have a background in community resource or community development. And so this online curriculum can really act as a guide to help people step through some of the controversial or exciting opportunities that they may find themselves in when looking at economic, at environmental, and social issues facing those communities.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because one of the tools I know you put up on there you've been working on is the Matrix. Tell me a little bit about this Matrix tool.
The Matrix tool is a tool that would help guide users through a series of pros and cons. Basically, there's a positive or a negative. What am I trying to say? There's a
issues, opportunities.
Yeah, there are issues and opportunities associated with any proposed bioenergy project, and the Matrix is a way for people or a facilitator or an educator to use a tool to use to help communities come up with some sense of whether it's whether it's a good thing or a bad thing for their community.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but mistaken, but you had an opportunity to test out that tool with a number of community members during a recent renewable energy tour you put together?
We put on a bus tour, a renewable energy bus tour that looked at some of the renewable energy produced by agriculture. And while on that bus tour, we introduced the Matrix to the participants as a kind of as a precursor to one of the stops that we had at a anaerobic digester. And so the participants used that Matrix to think about all of the different aspects associated with that anaerobic digester, and then were better informed when we stopped at that facility.
So it's a way of getting better informed and cultivating that conversation with different types of key stakeholders in the community.
Exactly.
Tell me, I wanted to ask you a little bit about another tool that's in our online curriculum called the Bioenergy Preparedness Index. And I know that you've been working on modifying that as another resource that an educator could pull off the shelf and use to facilitate a discussion in the community. Tell me a little bit about the...
Yeah, I think a lot of times communities may rush to adopt a practice before they've really taken a hard look, at the resources that they have in the community. And by using this Bioenergy Preparedness Index tool, which is basically, excuse me, just basically a 1 or 2 page document that goes through a series of questions, looking at infrastructure, maybe looking at some of the local financing, looking at the natural resources that are in place, and it just helps the community to establish a starting point from which to have that conversation about bioenergy.
Well, great. Pete, I wanted to thank you so much for sitting down and chatting with me today, and encourage everyone, of course, to check out our online curriculum on community development and bioenergy generation.